There we go. I was trying to unmute, but we got it now. All right, guys, welcome to the call. Guys, go ahead and send this link out to at least one more individual, whether it's in your team or whether it's somebody that you would love to have in your team. Maybe it's a customer, maybe it's a leader. Drop this in your group chats because tonight, guys, we have a very, very special speaker for you tonight. You guys all know who he is, but he's prepared a very special training for you guys tonight. And I personally am super excited. I got a pen and paper here with some notes, ready for action, man. But listen, I'm excited. My name's Richard here. I'm a Chairman 25 here with I Am Mastery Academy. And, I honestly couldn't think of anywhere else that I'd rather be, anything else I'd rather be doing than be here with you guys tonight on this call and to be able to actually introduce our speaker. But guys, all roads right now are leading to the Orlando Elevate Convention. We just got back from Break the Code in Miami about 10 days ago. I know a lot of you guys were at that event, and it was absolutely a game changer, right? You guys all know that events change lives. Those of you guys that have been to a convention or been to a big event before, but I was on a call last night with Matt Rosa and another Chairman 100, talking about this upcoming event. And guys, I'm telling you, if you're following me, if you're watching what I'm doing online, I'm going to be posting about Orlando every single day from now until then. Not for my benefit, but because I know that not only do I need my battery recharged like we all do at these events, but I know that the people that need to be there are on this call, and you guys that are on this call know the people that need to be there, if that makes sense, right? Like we have the opportunity to give people a chance to be in those rooms, to be in those environments. I remember the first big event that I ever went to, I was just absolutely, blown away with what I saw. The energy that I felt, the environment that I was in was just something that I'd never experienced before. And now I look forward to conventions just like I look forward to Christmas, or I look forward to, some big, family reunion or an opportunity to get around the people that I love the most in my life. I always see, the people that I look up to, right? The people that I'm learning from, the people I'm getting mentorship from. I see them at events. I see my team at events. I get to meet new people. I get to build new relationships. And so Joey put these calls together for a specific reason, because he knows that, the events are what we build event to event, right? But he also knows that in order to keep our cups full, to keep the energy high through the week and through the months moving into this new quarter and into the first quarter of this year, he said, what if we had a call every single week? So this is a 26-week series. There have been some of the best people in the entire industry of network marketing on these calls, teaching and training every single Wednesday. And, it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be involved in these calls, to be on these calls, to be able to participate, to take notes. And tonight, guys, is no different. So if you're brand new, I want to welcome you to the team. I want to welcome you to this call. But if you've been with us for a while, you may already know who this gentleman is. I remember the first time I heard Joey speak was actually, I think it was in Dallas, Texas. I saw him go up and just rip a talk. And I was like, dude, this guy has a story that a lot of people need to hear. And this is a gentleman that not only has a story, but he has a backstory. He also has a success story that's just phenomenal. I mean, he's made a lot of money in this industry. We're not here to talk about money. We're not here to talk about income. But in this industry, past results don't equal future profits. There's no guarantees of income, right? What you earn is all going to be based on the work that you put in. But I'm telling you guys, the only way to make a lot of money in this business is to help a lot of people. And so when you find someone that's impacted tens of thousands of lives, right, and is continuing to do so, and is really, ramping up for the next 10 years, the next decade in his career, you want to lock in with that person and you want to go, what does this guy do that I don't do? How does he think, when he wakes up in the morning? What are his daily methods of operation, and how can I emulate that, and how can I learn from him? So me personally, I've reached out to him many times. I've been like, dude, I got a question for you, right? How do I get better in this area? How can I improve? And so, I've learned so much from Joey in the last couple of months. We talk almost every day now, and I can tell you guys, he's one of the best in the business. He's one of the big, success stories really in our generation, just as an entrepreneur in general, not only in this industry, but, he's done some amazing things, and he's created a dream life for him and his family. He's a father, he's a husband, he's somebody that, tremendously cares about the people around him, and is one of the best leaders that I've ever had a chance to know. So guys, drop some fire emojis in the chat, get crazy in the chat, drop some love in the chat, and get ready for this training, because I promise you it's going to be incredible. So Joey, do we have you there with us, bro?
Yes, sir. Hey, can I play my walkout song real quick?
Let's go.
What you know about that? It's what I walked out to at the training at the last event, but I was just thinking, as he's building me up, I'm like, someone's got to drop a song on this. But I appreciate you, Richard. And listen, guys, Chairman 25, TLX Ambassador, he's got the travel behind him on the screen. He's doing it as big as anybody else out there. Very grateful for him as well. And so I started laughing out loud when he goes, guys, listen, he has an amazing training prepared and ready for you. Yeah, I wish that was the case. It never is the case. I can sit here all day long, all week long, and think of, dude, what is going to be the best training that's going to get people to take action? I have no idea, but hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know I have enough experience in the industry throughout the last 10 years that should allow some good stuff to come out. And I just know, I want you guys to know as well, I'm a regular guy, just like everybody else. When I started in this industry, I was below average. I just had desire. That was it. And when Richard was edifying me, he's like, he's a great father. He's a great leader. I'm hungry. That's what I really am. I'm hungry to win, and I'm hungry to help you guys all go to the next level. And when I was on my walk today, I was actually laughing again, because I was like, it's just crazy to me that I've been going hard at this thing every day for the last 10 years. And there's nothing else I would rather do. I'm so grateful that I found this industry. I'm so grateful that God instilled that desire inside of me, that passion inside of me. But I've been going hard at this thing every day for the last 10, 11 years. And I'm not going to slow down. Whatever it is, I don't know. I just want to go to the next level. I want to keep pushing. I want to see how far I can push myself. I want to become the best version of myself. I can't win unless I help everybody else win. And what a great industry where a kid like me, who was 22 years old, who was locked up at 19, got out at 21 and a half, saw this industry. God put a guy in my life, a mentor in my life, who showed me this industry where I can have mentorship, guidance, a platform, a compensation plan, a business, all for a couple $100. But then not only that, find people in my life that have that desire as well, so we can go hustle every single day together and chase our dreams and goals. I don't know. And a lot of you will probably agree with me. When I show this to people, I'm like, and they say no, I'm like, what did you just see? Did you not just see a way out? Dude, I was so broke, busted, and disgusted when I saw this industry. And most people are to this day. Most people are just eking out a living, and they're still too skeptical for their own good. And it just blows my mind that everyone isn't like me, but you guys are like me. So that's why I love working with everybody in this company, because you guys are my environment, my people, right? So it just blows my mind. Like when I saw this, I had nothing left. I had $3 extra to my name. I gave the dude, actually, I had to go to the bank. I had half of it half on a card and half cash. And I went to the bank. I said, yeah, I'll be right back. I got to run up to the bank, put the rest on a card. And then I actually came back. I think about that even. Most people would never have came back. Most people would have been on the way to the bank thinking, I didn't really know that guy. And he tried to sell me this. Is it real? It looks good. I don't know. Nah, you know what? I'm going to sleep on it. And they probably would have just drove home. I actually went back and I signed up. And the guy was like, hey, you made it back. I'm like, yeah, dude, I want to change my life. And he gave me a $20 bill for gas just to get home. That's how broke I was. I just saw a way out. Simple as that. I saw a way out. If not this, then what? Right? And that's what I tell people. What's the next best option? Show me. I've never seen anything in 11 years for a kid like me to be able to live a great life and become financially free. My income isn't up to anybody else but myself. If it is to be, it's up to me. And I need to look in the mirror and say, dude, you need to get better. You need to become more personally developed, and you need to become a 10. I started at a 1. Everybody needs to work on themselves to become a 10. That's how you're going to end up recruiting a 10, right? That's how you're going to end up recruiting a Richard, a Tyler Sorensen, an AJ, right? You got to become the person. That's what Tyler's talk was all about last week. You got to become the person that you actually want to recruit. For those of you who don't know my story, I'll just run through it really fast, or maybe run through it half this call. I don't know. I'm not going to take up too much time. That's one thing I did think before I got on here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to train on, but I'm definitely not going to take up too much of your guys' time. These calls don't always need to be an hour long, but if I can give you some meat and potatoes here in 30, 35 minutes, that's enough. And so I got in this industry at 2012. I grew up in a great family, mom and dad, they're still together, grew up in a great household. I posted on my story the other day, my dad's birthday. I feel like I got an unfair advantage. They taught me so much in life, just manners, hard work, ethics, morals, values. Not that I'm a perfect person, but I feel like I got an unfair advantage to some extent. And for me, like I said, I got locked up at 19 years old. I couldn't figure out the school thing. When I was in those indoctrination camps, school, I couldn't figure it out. I would even do my homework. Some people wouldn't even go to school half the week and they'd still get through the high school. And I, for whatever reason, would try to do my homework. I would try to pay attention. I still couldn't make it happen. I'm like, dude. And when online grade checking came out, my mom hopped on and she's like, she started crying and she's like, you have all D's and an F. What's going on here? And here I am, like 14, 15, 16 years old. I'm like, no idea. I'm going to school every day. I'm trying to pay attention. And we were taught what? If you don't get good grades, you're not going to be successful, right? If you don't get good grades, you're not going to get into a good college and you're not going to be successful. So I just said, screw it. Dude, I don't even like school. I actually never even liked learning about 2x minus b in the War of 1812. But what I did like is entrepreneurship and business. And I've always been wheeling and dealing and hustling, whether it was hats, shoes, Pokemon cards, sports cards, street pharmacist, whatever it was. And that actually ended up leading me down a bad path where I was hanging out with the wrong people. And next thing you know, I'm sitting in my jail cell, making my one phone call to my mom saying, Mom, you need to get me out of here. And this is when I was 19 years old. And she's like, and she was crying on the phone and she's like, I'm not getting you out. And I was crying on the phone. You always see that one dude that comes into county, their one phone call, the first one, they're always bawling at the phone call. And that was me. I was like, Mom, you need to get me out of here. I don't want to be stuck in here. And I sat down with a dude, my cellmate, his name was Joe Schultz, and they called him Smasher in there. Believe it or not, this is a true story. And he pulled out the guidelines and he said, what's your charge? I said, 1st degree sales. And he looked at the guidelines and I had a pending 1st degree burglary as well. I'm not a bad guy. I promise you. I was being an idiot, blacked out, and a dude took me into his buddy's house, told me it was a party, and I freaking took a chainsaw. And that was a 1st degree burglary. I had 2 charges pending. I was just making the wrong decision, right? So listen, I talk about this a lot. You can get a positive or negative return on your decisions, right? Going to the gym, eating clean, you're getting positive returns. Doing personal development, you're getting positive returns. It can be the opposite, right? Eating junk food, hanging out with the wrong people, doing stupid things. That was me. I was just compounding my efforts in the reverse. And here I am. Smasher shows me the results. It's a chainsaw, dude. I don't know. Crazy. But he goes, 1st degree sales, or his 1st degree sales, 1st offense, and you follow it in on the guidelines, and it's a mandatory 86 months. And I'm like, bro, there's no way. There's no way, dude. I'm just a kid from the suburbs, a great family, dude. There's no way I'm doing 86 months. And he goes, bro, you're going for 86 months. But with good time, he's like, as long as you don't get in any fights, you'll be out in like 5 years. I'm like, dude, there's no way. And so this lady came in, talked about Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge is a faith-based recovery program where they actually allow you to go and they can furlough you there instead of actually going to prison. But the judge can do whatever they want. I'm like, dude, my life isn't in my own hands. And that's one of the reasons why freedom is so important to me. And that's why I do the right thing every single day, because I never want my hands. I never want my life in the control of somebody else. But, so I said, all right, I'll go to teen. Well, my mom was like, you should probably go to Teen Challenge. It's a year program. But if you leave, you have to go to your maximum sentence. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to go into a faith-based boot camp for a year of my life. Can't we just get me out of here and I'll never do it again? Well, it's not how it works. So I had to go there, and it was crazy. I mean, you had to tuck in your shirt. You had to have a collar shirt every single day. You prayed when you woke up. You prayed when you go to breakfast. You prayed when you get showered up and back and ready. And then you get on a bus and you go to chapel and you pray. And then you go down to work study and you study the Bible and you pray. It wasn't a year long. If you screwed up at all, they gave you setbacks. They caught me with protein bars. They said, no protein bars in here, because we don't want you putting the Lord. We don't want you to put your workouts and your fitness above the Lord. So no protein bars in here. I had them hiding in my backpack. I had burned country CDs. And because those are secular CDs, secular music, they gave me another 30-day setback. I went on a home pass. When I was towards my end, I got like 11-hour home pass. I went on Facebook. Somehow they caught me. No Facebook when you're in the program. That was another 60 days. And I just kept getting time added on. I was in there for a year and a half. I got out. Check this out. I got out and I'm like, dude, I'm free. But I had 2 weeks of freedom before I had to go finish up 4 more months in jail. And then I was more free. I was still on probation, and this is back in 2009, 10, and 11. I get out, I'm messaging people, or I'm talking to, my buddies, we're hitting the gym, we're eating, drinking protein shakes, making chicken, playing Call of Duty. I'm like, dude, I'm ready to just do the right thing, because I made a decision the day I got locked up that I'm done screwing around. I had that paradigm shift where I needed to start hanging out with successful people. And one person I reached out to when I got out was actually this girl named Britt. Some of you know Britt, some of you haven't met her. She's been behind the scenes, but she's been rocking with me every single day since that 2-week period before I had to turn myself back in. We were hanging out all 2 weeks. And this was my high school sweetheart. We had a thing when I was 15 years old, and I was the first person she ever kissed. Now I'm just going down a tangent, but we met up for coffee and we just started talking. And she's like, ooh, this good boy, bad boy type guy. And we started hanging out. And then I went to jail. I said, listen, I got 4 more months in jail. And if you want to roll with me through this time, I'd love to, still talk to you. But obviously I understand if not. I'm not the first candidate probably that you're looking for. And she was there every single visiting hour. She was there. We wrote each other letters multiple times per week. She would send me a letter in jail and I told her to spray perfume on it. And when I got that letter, everyone in that jail knew when I got that letter, they're like, bro, let me get a smell of that. Cause you're in this jail, this cell block. I mean, there's no good smells in there, right? Recycled butt air. I'm like, dude, back up off my letter. If you want to smell this letter, I want your cake at dinner. I was hustling the smell of that letter for dinner cakes. I'm not even kidding you. The day I got out of jail, she picked me up and we've been together ever since. And I'm telling you, she has been a pivotal role in my life, just as far as she comes from a great family. She's just a wholesome girl, and there's nobody else that it's just crazy. It's crazy to look back and think that whole thing happened. And she's actually one of my very first running partners in this industry who helped me blow out an entire leg of business back in 2012. And who even knows, like, it's a lot easier to keep going when your girl is hustling and bringing in, aces, right? And I'm just like, well, that leg's blown out. Now let me go do this one. And so it's just dope. And now we have a couple kids together. We live here in Southern California, but one recommendation or requirement for leaving and graduating from Teen Challenge, which I graduated high school 2 years late, by the way. I graduated from Teen Challenge in high school, but one of the requirements was having a mentor. And I remember thinking to myself, so I got to just find randomly a mentor. I mean, like, I want to at least connect with this person. I don't want to just like pick a mentor and like just try to get out of here just because I got one. And I actually graduated without even having a mentor. But then I got out of jail. I got a job at LA Fitness. They said, hey, we hire felons. I'm like, dude, I want to get in the fitness industry. I was going to the gym every day anyways, got in that LA Fitness scene. And That's where I met my very first mentor. And we started talking and built a relationship. And he goes, listen, man, I coach people all over the world, teach them how to become financially free, and I can teach you. See how fast I can say that? I've said that. I have one story and I say it almost every single call. And this story has made me so much, you know what, over the years. So here's a tip. Just get really good at telling a story. Even if you have never had success in this industry, everybody has a story. But I said, you can help me become financially free. What are we talking about? And I had no idea what he's talking about. He said, just come over to my house. I'll show you what we have going on. And I said, well, I get out of school Tuesday at 1. I can come over then. I blew him off. Tuesday at 1, he texts me and I look at my phone. I'm like, oh, dude, this guy again. I'll sit next to my buddy, Jesse Lindbergh. I'm like, bro, this guy's trying to sell me something. I don't even know. He's at the gym. It's a guy I met at the gym. Seems like a cool dude. Drives a brand new Range Rover, but I have no idea if he's trying to hustle me or what. But I saw him at the gym. I blew him off, saw him at the gym the next day. He looks at me. I look at him. He walks up to me. I'll never forget it. He had his gym bag on his shoulder and he hands me an audio of him speaking at a big event. He hands me an audio. I've never heard of network marketing, by the way. Like, dude, I'm trying to figure out who I am. My buddies are just graduating college and here I am back on the streets. Like, dude, I need to figure out my passions. I need to figure out who I want to be, what I want to do in my life. But I knew one thing, I was a hard worker and I was hungry. I was hungry to find a track to run on. So he gives me that audio and I get my $600 94 Honda Accord and I put it in my CD player and I start listening to it. And real quick, I'll just show you just a glimpse of the first thing he says on that audio.
Let's go. Look, my job is to help you get to the end as quickly as possible. What is the end? To me, the entire day, everything will focus on passive residual income higher than your expenses. How many people would like to have that? Well, then why don't you have that? See, guys, it's for me.
That's it. That's the first thing
I
ever
really
heard. I put that audio in. And he goes, "What? How many people in this room would like to have a passive residual income higher than your expenses?" Everyone raised their hand. Oh, of course, me. I want that. He goes, "Why don't you have that?" And I remember thinking to myself, "Why do I not have that?" And he went on to talk about personal development, books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, Think and Grow Rich, The Millionaire Next Door, how to become debt free, how to live off of passive residual income, talking all about freedom. He was a chiropractor. He was spinning his wheels all day long at the practice, seeing patients in order to make that money, that small business that we talk about on presentations. He said, I was so sick of that crap. Even though I was running a high practice, I knew I was going to have a family and I knew I wanted freedom and I had to find a way to earn residual income. And he said, that's why I partnered with this industry. He said, I sold my practice and I went all in right here with this industry. And in the audio, he goes on to he's like, I'm a very transparent and open person. Last year, I made $764,000 and I'm listening to this audio and I call Britt. I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever. Remember that guy that I told you wanted to meet up with me? I just listened to his audio and I am mind blown right now. Absolutely mind blown. We never heard. I mean, I'm sure you guys were too. You get on some of these calls if you first got in this industry, you hear people like Alex, people like Greg and Mel on MMX, and you're just like, why did they not teach us any of this stuff in school? It is crazy. And I'm like, dude, this is why I didn't like school, because it's so ass backwards. They never teach you anything about making money. You go to school for 18 years or more and never learn a thing about making money. You never learn a thing about taxes. You never learn a thing about residual income. If you play by the house rules, what did Grant Cardone say at Break the Code? If you play by the house rules, who always wins? The house always wins. And so I told my mentor, I'm like, dude, the whole world is like backwards to me right now. This is just I'm mind blown. Went over to his house, pulled up in my 94 Honda that every time it rained, it leaked on me through the windshield, popped my hood, had to pop my battery terminal off, disconnected because I had subs in the back. And for whatever reason, it always was draining my battery. So I was just embarrassed for starters. Walk into the house, shows me a 20-minute presentation. I'm sitting there watching this presentation and I'll never forget it. I'm like, if this is real, my life is about to change. I mean, I was getting goosebumps in that house. I'm like, dude, if this is real, if people say they want this, people say they want this lifestyle, people say they want the freedom, I really freaking wanted it. And I was willing to fight for it and do whatever it took for as long as it took. And I joined that day, May 1st of 2012. I got started. 22 years old. I'm like, my life is about to change. I remember driving home thinking, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to give it everything I got. And I'm going to be teachable and coachable. And I'm going to freaking just follow his lead. I've never had a guy on his level tell me, who am I? Tell me that he's going to teach me and help me become financially free. Sign me up. That's what we have here. We have even better leaders than that. I mean, it is crazy what we have here. I learned so much in my previous company. And I'm so grateful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I went from 2012, got started in 2015, hit my first 6 figures. And I said, you know what? There were some things happening in that company. I said, I learned a lot here, and I'll never take it for granted. And this is my family, but it's time to earn a lot. And I'm young and I'm hungry, and I'm not going to drag my feet through the mud. And I just knew that what we could do over here is just next level. With Alex Morton, with Jason Brown, with Matt Rosa, with Chris Terry, with the whole platform that we had in place. And just to be real with you guys, next week will be my fifth year anniversary. I thought it was going to be 6. AJ's like, bro, it's going to be 5. I'm like, 5? I thought it was my 6th year. It's my 5th year next week. If you guys would have seen what we had when we first started, you probably wouldn't even have made it. And I'm not trying to say that just because that's what top earners say, right? I am serious, dude. We had a harmonic scanner and swipe trades. That is it. And where we are at today, I do hear some people complaining sometimes, and I see even in the leadership chat, sometimes people complaining. I'm like, do you guys remember beginning of 2018, how bad it was? Like, I'm not saying it was a horrible company or anything, but to where we're at now, it is crazy. And some people on this call know what I'm talking about. It is night and day difference. This is a different ball game. It is a different playing field. And you guys, if you're brand new on this call, how long have you guys been in the company, by the way? Type in the chat how long you guys been in the company. Dustin has been in the company 1 year. Mikhail's 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 1 year, 2 months, 3 years, 6 months, 4 months. We got a lot of many years on here. Listen, we need to start bringing on a lot more new people to be hearing the information, right? You guys have probably heard the same story over and over and over. So we got some 1 month, 1 month, 2 month. Unfair advantage. You guys have an unfair advantage. I truly believe it's harder to lose here than it is to win. I really believe that. I mean, you almost have to do nothing. That's the way I feel about it. And I know it's a grind. I know, me looking back, there was lonely times. There was times it was me against the world. There was times, I would drive 3 hours to a coffee shop and my guest wouldn't show up. There was times that we would show people for a week straight, bouncing around from meeting to meeting in the middle of winter and couldn't get anyone to join, but you have 30 people quit. I mean, I feel like, I'm numb to it now. I've been through it. I know what it takes, but I'm telling you, all the effort that you put forth, even when you think you're never going to be able to make it, even when you are doubting the reality of you going Chairman 10, Chairman 100, I promise you, if you stay the course and you stay consistent with your simple daily disciplines and you do what you need to be doing, showing 3 presentations a day, it's done. It is done. It's just a matter of time. That's it. So I got into this company February 7th of 2018. And I did my first launch call. If you haven't done your launch call yet, do your launch call. That's where you invite your closest friends and family on, and you have an expert hop on to share their story, right? You show the presentation, then you have the expert hop on to share their story. I wouldn't do it any other way. That's how you do it. And if you haven't done one yet, me and Richard have been talking like, dude, anybody who wants to set up their launch call, dude, I don't even care if you're in my team. Let's launch this sucker. Rising tides lift all ships. But we did our launch call. Our very first day, we put in 40 customers. By day 2, we had in over 100 customers. By week 2, we hit Platinum 5,000. By 90 days into the company, hit Chairman 10, $10,000 a month. And then we got stuck. Dustina, next Tuesday, we're getting that poster created and we're launching your business into the stratosphere. But we got stuck at Chairman 10. And obviously, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining to get stuck at Chairman 10, but I didn't join this business for Chairman 10. I said in 90 days, we're going Chairman 25 minimum. And we only got to Chairman 10, and then we got stuck for not 6 months, for not a year, for not 2 years, for 2.5 years. And I started talking to myself in a bad way, saying, am I really cut out for this? Can I really do it? Can I really make this thing happen? But you know that we talk about when your preparation meets God's timing, that's when the magic moment happens. That's when you strike gold. Well, when we hit Chairman 25, 2.5 years after Chairman 10, and then we went from Chairman 25 to Chairman 100 in a 9-month period. And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to say I'm special or anything like that, because that's not the case. I'm up here doing a choppy presentation, training, nervous, just hopefully giving you guys some value. But dude, everybody can do it if you're willing to do the deal. And that's what I talk about almost on every single call, is when my mentor looked at me, he goes, Joey, I'd rather sprint for 1,000 days than work for the next 40, 50, 60 years of my life, eking out a living. So many people get in this business, in this industry, and they give it a shot for a couple of weeks. They give it a shot for a couple of months, and then they go right back to a job that they don't like, or they just give up and say, you know what, this might not work for me. But one thing that I think helped me a lot in this industry, and this is something Grant Cardone talks about a lot, or Ed Mylett. Ed Mylett talks about raising your thermostat, right? And it's kind of this similar analogy to John Maxwell's raise the lid, right? You can only make is to the extent of how much you know or how much value you give to the marketplace. There's a law of the lid, and it's the same thing with the thermostat, right? If I set my thermostat at 80 degrees, the heat's going to pump on. It's going to regulate the room to 80 degrees. If the door's open and 60 degrees is flowing in here, the 80 degrees is going to drop. So then the heater will pump back on, and it'll always regulate right back to where it was, where it's set to. If your thermostat's set at $50,000 a year, that's all you know. I mean, that's where you're at. And if you make 100,000, but your thermostat's only at 50,000, you're going to go right back to that 50,000. It is what it is. But my point is, Ed Mylett talks about, how do you break through that? How do you break through that if you're stuck? And so he just kind of lays it out. There's a few different things that you can do, but one of those things is taking massive action, right? Shocking your system with a massive amount of work in a short period. That's why we talk about 30, 60, 90-day runs. And that rewires your brain and your thermostat to believe you deserve more, because you're putting in the work every single day. You're showing the deal. You're doing the trainings, right? You're busting your butt. And so it's not that I started this industry with a lot of influence or a lot of just a bunch of people to join my business, or I was, any sort of special. It was literally that I just put the blinders on, and it was ignorance on fire. And they told me ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. And I just went after this thing every single day. Mikhail's on here. He knows it. Me and him were running for a long period together. It's every day, all day long. I was running because I knew, and I told the story over and over and over, why I'm doing this thing. I said, I don't have a family yet. I don't have kids yet, but I have an amazing girl that I'm going to provide for. And I asked her, I said, what is your dream? And her dream wasn't to be a top earner. Her dream was to be a stay-at-home mom. That's all she could ever think of. She just really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's what was important to her. And I said, it's done. Let's go. So I said, I'm going to be going on a run. This is going to be a season of my life where, I might come home late. I might be gone early. And maybe you guys need to have that conversation with your spouse. But I did that. And I said, this is going to be a crazy season. It's going to be a crazy few years, but just trust me. I know I can get this thing going. And that's what it was. It was day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. But Alex said one time, he goes on a call and it really resonated with me. He said, you can either have dollar beer night or you can have mansions and yachts. You choose. I personally just like mansions and yachts better. And it's so true. I mean, you can just go to the bars, hang out, have drinks, this and that. Dude, I cut it all out. If it wasn't going to get me to where I wanted to be, I cut it out of my life. Forever? No, dude, for a season. For a season. And you guys will do it way faster than I ever did with my previous company. I promise you, this is way, way better. Right? So, is that all making sense, guys, so far? Type fires in the chat. Ben saying, dollar be night. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, and he said that one time, and I'm just like, dude, I don't care about any of that crap. I don't care about football. I don't care about talking about personally. I don't care about talking about Tom Brady's retirement. I don't care about it. If it isn't going to get me to where I want to be, I don't even care. All I want to do is help you guys win. That's it, period. And it worked for me over the years. It worked for me. I struck gold just like you guys are about to strike gold if you're consistently putting forth the effort every single day. So first you got to ask yourself is, why do you want to be a chairman? What would that do for you in your life? You know, why do you want to make $10, $25, $50, $100,000 a month? Why do you want to be a chairman 750? Why do you want to be a chairman elite? You know, who in your life could you help? My parents are coming down here to California for a month, and I'm going to damn near rent out Mastro's Steakhouse. I don't even think my parents ever been to something that nice, and I'm just going to cover it. Being able to do things like that for me is everything. Giving my family experiences that they'd never be able to have otherwise. Or if someone in my family gets sick, that's why Grant Cardone talks about 400 grand a year ain't going to cut it. It ain't going to cut it to take care of your family. If something happens to your sister, if something happens to your mom or dad. And so I'm going to be the one. I know I can do it. I got the energy to do it. I have the opportunity, the vehicle, the mentorship, the guidance to do it. So why wouldn't I? And so why do you guys want to become a chairman? And you know what I love about this company, in this industry? It's the purest form of capitalism. People that say this doesn't work simply didn't put in the work to see it through. Nothing that I've done up to this point has anything to do with my last name, has anything to do with the prestigious school I went to. You know the story. It doesn't have anything to do with my massive influence. The formula is very transferable to other people. It's called work your ass off and improve. That's it. If you're taking notes, that's all you need to write down. Work your ass off and improve. Right? The goal is to climb that personal development ladder. And I challenge anybody to do the following. Take the next year, take the next 2 years, and work your ass off in the marketplace to improve. Listen, there's people out there hurting. There's people out there that are eking out a living. There's people out there struggling to pay their bills. And if you're in America, which I am, if you're anywhere with Wi-Fi, you have endless opportunity. And so take the next 2 years in this company to improve. And there's 3 keys that I'm going to give you. I wrote down 3 keys. Okay, so if you're taking notes, 3 keys to be completely unstoppable. Or you could say 3 keys to being unstuck. If maybe you're stuck or whatever the case is. But 3 keys to being unstoppable. Number 1 is a great attitude, is a positive attitude. No matter what happens to you, find the blessing, right? Find the blessing. For me, I can't tell you. I mean, you guys will know when you get to Chairman 10, Chairman 25. I mean, there's people on this call, you know, Sakina's on this call. She knows. She was a top earner in my previous company with me. And same thing here. You're going to get burned so many times. It is what it is. Life's crazy and people are weird, but you just need to have a great attitude. And that right there, if you just had that, a positive attitude in your life, when no matter what, you know what hits the fan, that will separate you from the masses. Because are most people out there positive? No, most people are doom and gloom. And what do you think happens when people are struggling and eking out a living? They're thinking more of these things. They're thinking about how they can't. They're thinking about how they're struggling. No, I cut all that out of my life. Even when I cut it out. My old business partner, my old running partner, he would say, dude, I don't know. I can't afford that, bro. Don't even say that to me. Do not even say that to me. I got mansions and yachts, and I got a ridiculous amount of investments pouring in from multiple areas. And we're impacting thousands of lives all over the world. No matter what happened to me, I try to find the learning experience. I try to find the lesson and stay positive and just keep looking forward. Okay. That has a lot to do with emotional intelligence. One thing that I learned in the last couple of years is, people, take any top earner. I think one thing that they got really good at is emotional intelligence. But step number 2 is improve. Step number 2 is improve. Personal development. Whether I'm at the gym, on the way to the gym, do I listen to music? Yes, I do listen to music because it's as a lot of you probably do too. I mean, it's inspiration, right? I listen to music that I could see myself walking stage to. I listen to music that gets me fired up. But I do more personal development than I listen to music, 100%. I mean, if you just saw my YouTube history, I'm not the biggest reader. I wish I liked reading. I really wish I did. Gosh, it's a struggle for me to sit down and read because I know there's so much, all the same regurgitated stuff we see on Instagram, on people's stories that even I share. It's so surface level. It's all the same. I'm like, the real knowledge and the real one-liners are all in these books. But I listen to a lot of YouTube, a lot of Ed Milet, a lot of Patrick Bet-David, Grant Cardone. Those are obviously the top 3, I feel like, of our time, of our generation. But there's other amazing ones as well, obviously, but just be climbing that personal development ladder. This is one thing, my very first mentor, who I don't think I could have had a better mentor in my life than this guy. And that's one thing he harped on me most. He said, God first, family second, business third. And Joey, you need to climb that personal development ladder. He said, he always quoted whoever said it, but he would always say, if you gave me 10 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend 9 hours sharpening the axe and 1 hour cutting down the tree. The dude was just a personal development guru, and he became a 10. And so when he left his chiropractic clinic, all the chiropractors in Minnesota just followed him. I mean, he had that much influence, and he broke all the records. And so step number 2 is improve. Step number 3 is outwork everybody. Outwork everybody. Lead by example. You want to build a big business? I mean, for one, outworking everybody, you're showing people how to work, right? If I enroll Richard and I say, all right, bro, we're showing 2 presentations a week. What days work best for you? Let's schedule it. Let's put the time on there and let's do 2 a week. Then that's all he would do. He might only do, 2 or 1, or maybe he'd even do none. But if I said, Richard, if we're going to the top together and you're going to follow my lead, we're doing 3 to 5 presentations a day. And that's what we would do. And so you have to show people how to work. So there's aces that probably join your guys' business all the time. Maybe you weren't ready to bring that person on and actually take them to the top with you. But I think one thing for me that leading by example and working hard has done wasn't only just to show my team, but it also gave me the self-confidence that I could do this thing, right? You're stacking wins. Even though I was going for no, I didn't even care if they said yes. I looked at it as a dub if I just got in front of someone and showed them the presentation and got an expert on the phone to share their story. That was a dub to me. I didn't care. Some people get bent out of shape if they don't get someone to join. It doesn't even matter to me. But I was stacking those wins and building that self-confidence and doing, Ed Milet talks about it. How do you build self-confidence? Doing the things that you said you were going to do. And so I was just stacking those wins every single day. And so, but what else did it do for me? It built a routine. It built disciplines. I mean, if I had my wife come down here right now, my life hasn't changed. I mean, it's from the second I wake up to the second I go to bed. I'm looking down my organization saying, dude, who can I help next? Who can we help do a launch call? It's the same thing. I'm just ingrained in my routine. I don't even have to think about it at this point. And so it's all about doing the work enough to be unconsciously competent, where you don't even have to think about it anymore. You're just doing it. And it's a high paid skill especially once you get it going. I know at first in this industry, it's not a high paid skill, but there is a flip that happens. And they always told me, Joey, keep going. Cause I was outworking all my uplines. I was outworking everybody. And they're like, I'm not kidding you, Joey, just keep going. The flip's going to happen. I'm like, dude, I've been in for 4 years and I haven't seen any duplication yet, really. Like, what do you mean it's going to flip? Is it really going to flip? I'm trusting you, but dude, I need a flip to happen here because I want to get paid, right? At least enough to, you know, have a semi-quality life at the time. So yeah, guys, step number 1, great attitude. Step number 2, improve. And step number 3 is outwork. The market rewards people who outwork and out-improve. It's proven. This doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire or a billionaire in the next year, in the next 2 years. But what it does mean is your value is increasing. You get paid based off of the value that you bring to the marketplace. Your value is increasing, and you'll slowly start to see that the quality of people that are reaching out to you will start to be leveled up. I mean, you're climbing that ladder. You're going to start to attract higher quality individuals, right? And so it all comes down to simple daily disciplines versus simple daily errors in judgment. And that's the book, The Slight Edge. Right? It's compounding. We talk about it in trading all the time, compounding your account, what that could look like, how crazy it compounds if you compound a penny, right? Same thing with your efforts. Simple daily disciplines versus simple daily errors in judgment. If I eat chicken, and this is again what my mentor says on that audio, if I eat chicken, broccoli, and water every single day, and AJ goes to Burger King and gets a Big Mac, a large fry, and a Coke, will we look much different in the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? No, probably not. I might feel a little bit better than him, right? He might have gone through a little more toilet paper, but how about a month, 2 months, 5 months? How about a year, 2 years, 5 years? There's going to be a massive difference where your efforts in this business will eventually compound to the point where you're going to be laughing. It's going to be so crazy. And your lifestyle is going to be something that you didn't even realize possible. And Grant Cardone talks about, man, I wish if I could take anything back, I wish I would have dreamed bigger sooner. Believe it. Believe in yourself. Believe that you are the top earner. It's already done. You are good enough to be one of the best in the world. I just wish you could have been there with me on my very first day and saw where I was at, how insecure I was getting out of county and hanging, and Britt picked me up and we went over to my parents' house where I was living and my brother was living, and he's my 2-year-old older brother who's all jacked and tan, and we go up by the pool and here I am just fresh out of the cell. I'm like, gosh, dude, I'm so insecure right now. I need to get tan. I need to get jacked. I need to build my self-confidence. And I slowly started to work on myself and build my self-confidence over the time to where right now, I feel like I'm deadly lethal in this industry. I feel like I can be one of the absolute best. And I truly believe that every single person on this call, you should believe that about yourself as well. And if you do what I just told you, have a great attitude, improve, focus on personal development every single day and outwork everybody, you're going to stack those wins and you're eventually going to stack that self-confidence where you're going to be on one of these calls saying the same thing. Like, it's possible for every one of you guys because you knew what it was like. And here you are now, a completely different person. And that's something we talk about a lot, is this is a personal development factory. Thank God I needed it. It's not just a Forex company. It's not just a network marketing company. This is a personal development factory where we have mentorship, where we have guidance, and then we climb that personal development ladder and grab other people and help them do the exact same thing. So listen, one of my idols, Arnold Schwarzenegger, said this. He said, for me, there's no plan B. I've never had a plan B. I made a commitment that I would be the bodybuilding champion. I made that commitment. He said, I made a commitment. I'm going to be in America. He said, I made a commitment. I was going to be an actor. I made that commitment. I made the commitment that I was going to be the governor of California. No matter what it takes, I'm going to make that work. There's no other options. He goes, I will do the work over and over and over until I reach my goal. To me, it's very dangerous to have a plan B because you're just hurting your chances of really succeeding and achieving your dreams. And I heard him say that on a podcast, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's crazy. Because one thing I told myself, we talk to ourselves all day long. I mean, almost all day, every day, I would say there's no other options. There's no other options. I'm going to win here. There's no other options. This is it. I'm all in. And even to this day, I don't do anything else. I don't put my time and efforts anywhere else. If I invest my money, that's different and it's passive. I don't run any other side businesses. This is it. This is what I love. And I love working with people that are hustlers, that are grinders, that are focused, that want to win. And I want to win with you because it's you guys that changed my life. It's this environment that changed my life. So, and here's a quick bonus tip. Write down on your piece of paper, bonus tip, and then we'll wrap up the call. Sometimes you need to lie to yourself. Sometimes you need to lie to yourself. Okay? See yourself in your dream home. See your bank account with millions of dollars. See yourself walking stage as a brand new Chairman 750. See that and really start believing it, right? Alex and Bob Proctor and these guys talk about your subconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between real and fake. So if it doesn't know the difference between real and fake, why don't you just dream crazy? And then your subconscious mind is going to go to work and build roads to start to find avenues for that, for opportunities for that to happen. So see yourself in your dream home. See yourself in your dream car. See yourself with your dream family. See yourself walking stage at the next convention in front of your friends and family while you get announced by Monaco. And what song would you come out to? Play that song when you're on your way to the gym. Play that song when you're chilling in the house and envision it. Stand up and start look in the mirror and act like you're speaking to the 10,000 people and feel that emotion. Start tearing up and just really let it loose. And it's almost as if you're actually there. Guess what? You'll be there if you do that and you put in the work. Anyone that's ever achieved something, some sort of level of success, it all starts in their mind. Basic success 101, right? Think and Grow Rich 101. It all starts in the mind. So my last question to you guys is, do you really want IM to work? Do you really want to become a chairman in IM Mastery Academy? Do you really want that? And if you said yes, I'm assuming you're going to be at the next convention. And so I say that to say this. I'm already assuming all 72 of you are probably going to convention, whether it's Orlando or Rotterdam. But your team is only as big as the team that's pretty much at convention. That's what I've seen over the last 10 years. And if anybody is contemplating going or giving an excuse, the best thing I ever found was just to simply ask them. You don't need to pressure them. You don't need to, go crazy. You don't need to try to find all these rebuttals. You just simply ask them, do you want IM to work? Do you want that lifestyle that you said you wanted when you first started? Then I'll see you at convention, because these don't happen without convention. Becoming a top earner doesn't happen without conventions. They don't. It is what it is. And then on top of that, the people in your organization that go, big decisions are made at big events. Teacup Lou was talking about it last night. He goes, I went to my company convention in, whatever month it was. And he's like, that's where I made a decision. You know what's funny? In that same company I was in, the convention before that was my very first one, sitting up in the nosebleeds, way up in the rafters, and my head was damn near hitting the top. And I saw people walking the stage, and I'm just like, this environment is crazy. I'm all in, baby. And I was screaming it. And that's where it started for me. And so that's why we do these calls, Elevate Mentorship, to lead you all the way to Elevate Orlando Convention. So if you don't already got your ticket, you guys know how to get them. You can get them right in your back office. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this call. 7:59, we're ending pretty much right on the dot. So I appreciate everybody for hopping on here. Guys, listen, if you need anything, reach out to me, let me know, and let's take this thing to the top together. And as always, my life verse, my favorite verse that I heard when I was in Teen Challenge back in the day, I was sitting on a bus ride. I was all in. I was sold to the vision of being a Christian, and I still am to this day. But I was reading the Bible in Galatians 6:9 for whatever reason. I just read it, and I never forgot it. Galatians 6:9, don't get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, you'll reap a harvest of a blessing if you don't give up. Don't get tired of doing what is good, because at just the right time, you'll reap a harvest of a blessing if you don't give up. that's been apparent in so many places, so many areas, and in my own life. So appreciate you guys for hopping on the call. And then next week we have an amazing speaker as well getting on here. So again, appreciate you guys. Promote like crazy for next week, and I'll see you at Elevate Convention in Orlando, Florida. Let's go to the top. We go. Love y'all. Peace.